Hello and welcome to another 31 Days of Horror 2016. This segment, we're going to be looking at The Secret Village from 2013. Pretty cool cover. When I first saw it, I thought, hey, this could be really, really good. And then I looked at the back, and I was like, maybe not. With a name like The Secret Village, even listing, stuff on the back when you read it, I thought it was going to be sort of like the Asylum take on M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, but it's not from the Asylum. No, this is a Vertical Entertainment release, and it has nothing to do with that movie whatsoever. It's directed by somebody I've never heard of, Swami M. Kandan, who also wrote it with Jason Whittier. Both are essentially unknowns, have done relatively nothing, both in the writing and directing fields. So it's not surprising, this film, I'll say it right off the bat, not that good. Quite bad, actually. So there's essentially two people, a man and a woman, end up in this small village, a secret village, which is not so secret. People apparently know about it. That's how they come to learn about it and go there. One is essentially a reporter, the other one is a writer, I guess a screenwriter, actually. Both of them are trying to use the village that they are visiting for slightly similar and yet different purposes. Obviously, the screenwriter is using the history that he's found out previously and the location he's now arrived at to, generate some ideas and give him something to essentially write his screenplay about, in the hopes that somebody will turn that into a film. Whereas the reporter is actually going there to report on what she thinks may be something a little bit maybe nefarious or unknown about this particular region. Because the big thing about this is this secret village is one whose past revolved around the Salem witch trials and all that kind of stuff, and they had it deals with the ergot poisoning that may have been a factor in those trying witch trials. And this particular village obviously was one of those places that, when that was all going around, they were doing the whole witch thing. And the reason why she's gone back is because there's been continued reports, very, very small, of, basically, possible ergot poisonings and maybe outbreaks of disease or mysterious deaths, continuing on throughout the years. And she wanted to kind of get to the bottom of it. Was there something a little bit evil or nefarious about it? Now, this secret village is apparently, they say, cut off from the world. They don't, they govern themselves. They don't allow for, outside government and all that kind of stuff. Which is, and they're self-sufficient, right? Which is odd, because this isn't like a Mennonite community or anything like that. They're driving cars, so they have to be getting petrol. They're, all their clothes are not handmade and stuff from local things. Their houses are not made from, just wooden stuff. They got plastic siding and all that kind of stuff. So it's clear that this village does have, contact with the outside world. It's not cut off from them. They're obviously regularly dealing with them, which means they're paying taxes and all that kind of stuff. So that aside, like let's burst the bubble. This is not a secret village. This is not a cut-off village. This is not a secluded village. No, it's small village. It may be a little. I don't even know what you'd call it, but they may keep to themselves. We'll just put it that way. I mean, the writer brings up the idea of a village that doesn't believe in sex or marriage or anything like that, and okay, whatever. That's the basis of a story. It's a little weird. She thinks it's a little weird, but yeah. So they go to this, and right off the bat, she's doing, meets with a local who's willing to talk with her. And he warns her, it's the warning, don't dig too deep. Your life will be at risk. I'm risking my life just by talking to you and all this kind of stuff. So it's amazing how quickly you jump from I'm coming to this area to people are trying to kill somebody. And there's constantly images of people in sort of like dark, cloaky type things walking around and committing, doing ceremonies and such like that. And there's a lot of this movie really going nowhere. When you get to the end, it wasn't so much of a big reveal as I think they wanted it to be. I kind of felt that that's where the film was going very early on, simply because of what was happening. It's not necessarily foreshadowed, but the way people were portrayed and the way people were acting and such like that. It really led towards only one real outcome, even though there are some red herrings thrown out throughout the film to try and steer you in different directions. It really does, if you think about it, does lead you towards that end conclusion and end reveal. And of course, I won't give too much away because that would be the whole point of the movie, and if I gave that away, there would be really no other reason to watch this. The story itself, I get the idea that they're trying to go through. It is a very short film, an hour and a half, but for some reason it kind of feels longer than that because it never really goes anywhere. It never really manages to get anything done. Now the acting, we've got, like I said, there's a woman and a man. The woman is played by Ali Faulkner, who has been in a bunch of other low budget horror actually. She was in the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1. She was in Humans vs. Zombies, Bad Kids Go to Hell, Butcher Boys, and a bunch of other ones. So I mean, she does have some acting chops to her, and she's okay. I mean, there's nothing overly dramatic about what she's having to do. I think she actually delivers the role pretty much how you would want to and how it needs to be delivered. The guy is played by Jonathan Bennett, and he actually comes from a sort of a different background with more comedy as his film choices. He's been in Mean Girls, Cheaper by the Dozen 2, Love Wrecked, Van Wilder Freshman Year, and a whole bunch of other ones. I think he's been in twice as many films as she has, but either way, both of them, they come across as well as you would expect from somebody who's done that, enough films to know how to do things. Where it really falls apart, especially with this film, is the editing and the sound design. The sound design is I'll start with that, and because it bothered me right from the get-go. The music does not match up with what they're trying to do. I mean, it really is a case of whoever's doing the music for it trying to make something out of a scene where it really isn't. I mean, there's developing suspense and tension, and then there's just being annoying. And that's the way the music came across to me in this film. It was very, very annoying. The sound design and everything, like for general talking, sometimes it's well balanced, other times it's not. Just different things. Sometimes the music is too loud. Sometimes it was all over the place. As was the editing. There are moments where it's just like shot, and I mean, some moments were supposed to be like dream sequences, but really, maybe they should have gone back and watched Nightmare on Elm Street to really see how you pull off a dream sequence that's supposed to seem like it's really happening until you realize it's a dream. Yeah, there's just a lot of weird cuts and changes between scenes. And just the scenes, the choices in general seemed really, really odd. People will go from, saying, oh, you know what, I need to show you this, and then they're not with them anymore. And it's just a lot of things like that. And to a certain degree, I get why some of them were the way they were, but I think they didn't go about it the right way. And that's why it just didn't work for me. It didn't flow. It really didn't flow properly. The story it didn't come together the way it should have. And it's such a simple story the way they told it. They could have made it really, 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 elaborate if they wanted to. But what they essentially, maybe it's because of budget, I don't know, but, kept the cast very, very small. Kept locations down to, not a minimum, I'd say, but relatively low, and as a result, I think they lost the ability to really, really make the story work, really make it sort of get that big reveal at the end. There needed to be more substance to the film leading up to that. And unfortunately, the minimalist, I guess, approach that they took, like I said, whether it be for budgetary reasons or other, didn't really work for me. It just, yeah, there was very little about this film that's enjoyable. Honestly, the best thing about the film is the cover to this DVD. Like that's a pretty good cover. Outside of that, yeah, it just is. It's not. I'm not even going to go so far as to say I don't recommend it. I recommend you avoid this film. It's just a waste of time. It's an hour and a half you'll never get back. There is very little redeeming qualities to it. So even if you find it for cheap, avoid it. Avoid it. The secret village should remain a secret that nobody knows about. Yeah, some things just, I don't know. Yeah, it's too bad though. It's too bad. I don't know. I really wish it had pulled through, because it seemed like it had potential. I guess one of the really the only good things you could say about this is this guy right here. That's Richard Riel, who's been in a million things. I mean, you can look at that face, right? That he has that look. But yeah, I mean, he's been in so many things in all sorts of different genres. I mean, he's been in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Transformers, Office Space, the Man from Earth. So it's I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed it from here. I'll show him to you again. He's a little bit older here, right? Because Office Space was almost 20 years before that. There you go. That is the guy who played, what was his name? Tom something in Office Space. So yeah, I mean, he's essentially the best thing about this film, next to the cover. So, like I said, don't bother with it. Avoid it at all costs. Don't watch The Secret Village from 2013. There may be other Secret Village movies that come out. I just want to make sure it's the same Secret Village, because the next one might be good, or previous one. Either way. But yeah, this 31 Days of Horror, we're not getting too many good ones here. Lots of stinkers. So yeah, at least we're warning you, I guess. Anyways, if you've seen The Secret Village and you agree with me, comment down below. If you don't agree with me, comment down below as well. I'd love to know why you like the movie. What it really, works for you. Comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, until next video, take care. Have a good one.